Is Michel Houellebecq the Antichrist? That is a fundamental question that I've come to ask myself after reading a lot of Houellebecq's books and sort of like paying attention to what he's talking about. I come to the conclusion that Houellebecq might actually be the Antichrist, or he's a good candidate for that. Why do I say that? Why do I uh, propose that? Well, there's a lot of themes in Michel Houellebecq's books that go against, you could say, Christianity. That sort of like propose ideas, solutions for humanity that are the opposite of what Christianity prescribes. You're sort of like eternal life, immortality. Uh, Welbeck prescribes immortality as a solution. It's like we're gonna live forever. In many of his books, the elementary particles, the possibility of an island, he's saying, well, we're going to try to figure out some kind of genetic solution so that we can live forever. In the elementary particles, he suggested that in the possibility of an island, um, is basically a group of scientists that are trying to figure out how to live forever. And they figured it out, and the solution they invented was basically you clone your body, basically your genes, into a new you basically create a new clone of yourself, and you transplant your memories into the clone, and ultimately you keep going from one version to another version of yourself, but the memories keep passing down, and it's almost like the same person, but the physical body that you have doesn't last forever, right? And there's different versions, Daniel 1, Daniel 2, Daniel 3, and that's how they found a way to live forever. But in the process of doing that, you lose the humanity. So you lose it, and basically you no longer feel the need to live sort of the a typical life that a human would live. And so you come up with these other ways. You don't need to eat food. There's a lot of things you don't need to do in order to survive because you're not a human. You're not a normal person. But you figure out how to live forever. Welbeck discussed that. That is sort of anti-Christian, because in Christianity, the idea is you're gonna die, right? You're gonna die, and then you're gonna resurrect, and you're gonna live forever in heaven if you believe in God, but you're not gonna live forever on earth. Welbeck is proposing that you're gonna live forever on earth. So that's one thing. It's like, okay, this guy's he's the Antichrist. Maybe. I'm just saying. The other thing that Welbeck proposes, what else? Let me see if I can think of other than to live forever. Um, what else? What else does Welbeck talk about that is sort of anti-Christian? And then sort of like he has a very pro technology, uh, genetic modification, all kinds of things where I'm sort of asking, like, is he the Antichrist? Let me pull up Gemini, um, where I did some research. Um, let's see. Is Michel Houellebecq the Antichrist? Okay. So, I pulled it up right here. The question that I asked Gemini was, oh, I gotta go way back up. The transhumanist future. So Welbeck kind of talks about a transhumanist future where you'll be able to, change your body in a way where maybe you'll have, like, instead of five senses, maybe 200 senses. Just like you will basically be augmented, an augmented version of what you are right now. And he pushes those ideas, like he actually believes in them. He thinks that humans, as they are very weak and fragile creatures, and that technology could actually make them better. Transhumanism could make them better. And that's kind of, you could say, that's kind of anti-Christian. God, Jesus certainly wouldn't want you to do those things. And so you could say that in a way is also anti-Christian. Now, when I ask Chat GPT those questions, or not Chat GPT, Google Gemini, it said that, well, Houellebecq is actually not proposing those ideas. He's actually critiquing them, and he's saying that we need to do the opposite. He's saying that he's not endorsing them, he's critiquing them. And what Gemini said is that he uses those technological sort of ideas to highlight the downside, and to highlight how it can change society. He's making a diagnosis. He's diagnosing, what society is doing and what society is trying to do. And also, he talks about the necessity for organized religion like Christianity or Islam, even though himself he failed to convert to Christianity, as he said many times. What else? As far as the bleak future that Houellebecq describes, and the possibility of an island. In the possibility of an island, Houellebecq describes a bleak future where essentially 90% of the world's population died because of what he called the great dryness. Basically, it's going to get so hot due to global warming that the earth is going to dry up, and the plants are going to die, the trees are going to die, and 90% of the population is going to die. And what he described there is a world with mass destruction, as was also described in the Bible, with cataclysmic events, disasters, natural disasters, wars, and things like that. But again, what Houellebecq proposes is, once we figure out how to live forever, then the remaining humans will be able to survive, and they won't live in the type of structures we have today. They will build these sort of futuristic, houses where they'll be able to protect themselves from the outside, even though at some point they will realize that the environment outside is not harmful to them because they've been genetically modified, so they can go outside and not suffer any issues. That's what Houellebecq describes in the possibility of an island. He talks about these neo-humans that live in strange, isolated indoor facilities or compounds, communicating mostly via passive internet, in a passionless state of existence. There's no passion. There's no humanity. It's very sterile. It's very, it's very cold. It's a cold type of neo-humanity that he describes there. So, is he the Antichrist? Is Michel Houellebecq the Antichrist? Probably not. But if you read his books, you would think that he is. But again, it's fiction. It's not reality. It's fiction. So let me know what you think in the comments. I just thought it was interesting with all the conversation about the Antichrist that's going on right now, to put Houellebecq's name in that conversation. Anyway, peace.